Hi, everyone, and welcome to Nail the Game podcast. This is Olympia from North Beauty. If you're new to our podcast, it is dedicated to creating a safe space for nail techs all over the world to discuss their journeys, inspire us, and also to share some challenges and try to find some solutions to them together. And today I'm very happy and excited to learn more about Savannah Wood, who is a licensed nail tech from Ohio, and she does really cool nail art and very, very excited to learn about her journey. Hi, Savannah, and thanks a lot for accepting our invite.
Hi, thanks so much for letting me join. I'm so excited for this.
Me too. I would love to kind of ask about the start of your journey in general. How did you decide to become a nail tech?
Yeah, so I loved doing nails when I was a kid. I would always get, the nail art kits from Amazon for Christmas and birthday presents. And
Mhm.
so, and like practice on friends and family. And I think after a few years or so of doing that, like, 10, 11, 12, something like in there, I realized, oh, this is an actual career that adults can do. So when I got into high school, I got into one of the local cosmetology programs within high school. So that once I graduated, I got my license and could start at a salon right after graduation.
That's great. Also, from your page, I see that you're very kind of concentrated on nail art and you do it very amazingly. I was wondering, like, why did you decide to concentrate a lot on nail art? What inspired you to start doing nail art?
There was a girl that was in the cosmetology program. She was a few years older than me.
Mhm.
So when we were younger, she would do my nails and do some nail art on me. And I thought that was just so cool. And I wanted to do that too. So I really got into that. There were some YouTubers that were really into
Mhm.
doing tutorials. And so I could practice with that. And just the more that I got into it, practicing it, the more I fell in love with being able to paint on little tiny canvases.
Right. And also, do you have any skills like or some tips for nail techs, how they can kind of master up their skills of hand painting? Because it's not something that everyone can do. I was wondering whether it's something that you have to have inside, like a talent, or it's something that you can also learn as a skill.
I really feel like practice is so huge with it. Practice, practice, practice is what I always say. There's definitely lots of online tutorials that help.
Mhm.
There's free ones on YouTube, and then there's also paid ones that are they go a little more in depth on Instagram. There's a lot of nail techs out there that provide different tutorials for nail art. So watching those, working on little fake nails to practice, it's so important and it's very helpful. I feel like even if you don't have that talent inside that it just comes naturally, you can practice and it can, grow.
Agreed. Also, as you mentioned about different nail techs and tutorials, I was wondering, how do you follow nail art trends? Do you have like your favorite bloggers or favorite sites on
Yeah.
Instagram or somewhere else?
Yeah, I definitely find a lot of things on Instagram. I follow a ton of different nail techs, not just in my area, but a lot from all over. There's
Mhm.
actually, funny enough, a lot of really talented nail artists, specifically in Utah, that I
Mhm.
follow, and I feel like they are very ahead of Ohio in some of the trends. So,
Mhm.
what I see going on there, I'll see here maybe a few months to almost a year later.
Right.
So, that kind of helps me keep ahead. Okay, they're doing that now, so it's going to come here soon. Let me, start working
Right.
on practicing that.
That's a great tip also for nail techs that are looking
Hmm.
more into kind of doing nail art that is not trendy yet.
Hmm.
And I was wondering, what's your favorite nail art technique in general that you've been doing recently?
Yeah, I love all the fine line work. I love getting like the gel paints. They're a little thicker than regular polish, and so it stays in place a lot easier. And using that for some of the fine line like florals or vines. I love to uh, also use like a wide flat brush and
Right.
kind of mix colors in that way to make some florals, and gives it a different look than just a flat, plain color. It kind of mixes it and looks a little more textured or watercolor or however, you want to make it.
Right. My recent favorites are aura nails also, like a
Mm-hmm.
mixture of different colors and
Yeah.
everything. And also from Hailey Bieber, and not only the
Yes.
trend with like the pearls and everything is very popular right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I was also wondering, I mean, for me, nail art is literally a form of art, and it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
a creative process that you have to think about and get inspired in order to create something new, something interesting. I was wondering, what does your creative process look like? How do you come up with different nail art?
So I will say I'm so bad at coming up with it just out of my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I really try to pay attention to different patterns I'll see on clothing, or if I'm out and about and I see a fun, wall print maybe,
Right. Mm-hmm.
or just lots of different inspo pics on Instagram or Pinterest, kind of deriving different ideas from that. I try to keep that either saved on my phone or just in the back of my brain so I can pull that out later.
Right. And thanks a lot for kind of connecting nail art to fashion as well, because it's
Hmm.
definitely part of fashion, and getting inspired from different patterns and different fashion trends is also a very good idea for someone who's looking for inspiration. So thanks for
Absolutely.
bringing that up.
Absolutely. There was one time too, I even saw this cute mug and I was like, oh, that pattern can be on a nail. That would work perfect.
Yeah, especially like anthropology mugs, all
Mm-hmm.
of the kind of little, I don't know,
Yeah,
ladybug designs, daisy designs, and everything definitely can get inspired from literally anything.
absolutely.
And also, one of the kind of biggest parts of nail art is to invest in high quality materials as well. And I was kind of wanting to ask, how do you choose your materials? What are some points that you pay very close attention to when choosing a new brand or a new product in general?
Yeah. So I tend to going back to some of those nail techs in Utah a little bit, I have looked at what they are doing, some nail techs that I really admire and look up to. I look to see what they use, and that kind of helped me figure out what I wanted to use as well. Before I owned my own business, I worked as an employee for a few years. And so then I was also able to try out some different products there, and then decide, okay, I like this, I don't like that. Because quality of products, I mean, that's when you get the quality of your work, and that's what you're putting your name on. So it's super important to find good quality things. And even if, you just get a couple things from a couple different brands, test them out to figure out, feel out what you like and don't like. It all comes with time and just,
Sure.
trying out different things. But I really do look at what other people are using, other nail techs that I admire, to see what I want to do as well.
Sure. And also, where do you love to shop? Do you love to go to kind of beauty supplies, or do you mostly order online?
Pretty much everything's online. There's not a ton of beauty supply shops in my area that
Mhm.
have a lot for nails.
Right.
There's really only one store that carries anything for nails around me.
Mhm.
So a lot of it's online, which
Wow.
is fine because the shipping, thankfully, is very fast.
Agreed. And also, coming to other challenges that you face as a nail tech, what are some of the kind of most common challenges that you're faced with every day?
Um, I would say when it comes to creating nails and art and all of that, I will sometimes deal with like the polish bleeding together. If I'm putting some lines down and they're just running together, so it's not looking as great. I definitely struggle with that a lot. So I use a long, really, really skinny nail art brush, which is helpful. And then also having some gel paints, since they're thicker than gel polish, they tend to stay in place better.
Right.
And you can do thinner lines with them. So it's better for that fine line work, more detailed work. And flash curing, like curing for 5 to 10 seconds in between each, step. That helps because if you mess up, you have already flash cured a little bit of it, so you can wipe off what you messed up without wiping off the entire design, which is so helpful.
Right. Yeah, flash curing is very good tip, especially for colors that are a little bit lighter. And also they tend to be like a little bit more runny, especially if your working style is more slow and you pay attention to all of the details. I think flash curing can help a lot with getting the kind of perfect looking nail that you're working on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, talking about designs and working with different nail art, I wanted to ask, what was your most memorable or unusual client request when it comes to nail art? Did you have one that you can kind of remember?
Yeah, I think when it comes to most unusual, there was several years ago, I had a girl from my church actually come in, and she wanted frogs in space on her nails. And it had to do with her daughter. She calls her daughter like her little froggy or something like that. And so she wanted frogs to commemorate that, but then add space in that. So that was an interesting set for sure.
Yeah, I would love to see that actually.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool.
It was interesting.
Also, yeah. Also, with clients, I mean, this is a very kind of common topic with nail techs and in the service industry in general, not only our industry, but actually this concept of firing clients. And there are some clients that are just not for you, and maybe it is good to end the relationship there in order not to kind of add up on the negativity. I was wondering whether you had to face any clients that you needed to fire or you haven't?
Yeah, so I've definitely had to fire some clients, and it's not fun at all. I mostly have had to fire clients that just don't respect my time. So they
Right.
will no show a lot, or last minute cancel a lot. And I have a policy for that. I have certain grace periods for that. But it gets to a point where, you've not shown up 5 times in a row. I can't keep continuing to have you. So usually if I deal with that, or it's just somebody that they're not happy every time, or we're not really meshing well together, I'll kind of send them a message and say, hey, we've had some not great appointments. It seems like you haven't been happy with your nails. Or if it's regarding the no showing, like the schedules are not seeming to work, so I think it would be best if you found another nail tech. I can give you some referrals in the area if that would be nice for you. And I just leave it at that. I don't, apologize really, because at the end of the day, most of the time it's not really my fault. And I don't want to come across like that. But I also don't want to shift a ton of blame onto them either and be unprofessional. So I try to keep it short and professional.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot for sharing how you kind of articulate the messaging that you use while kind of firing your customers, because it's something that a lot of people are struggling with. Like they don't know how to put it into words, how to do it in order not to kind of hurt the one in front of them. So thank you a lot for sharing that. It's really professional, to the point, and doesn't hurt anyone's feelings.
Yeah.
Also, another kind of not an issue, but something that nail techs face a lot as a situation are indecisive clients, people who kind of are not inspired, they don't know what color they want, what design they want. Do you have kind of a strategy to kind of help them out and choose what they want to get?
Yeah, I have so many of those. I have so many of those. So if it's somebody that I've seen a lot, that
Mhm.
I kind of have an idea already, okay, they don't really love tons of nail art, or they, love to go all out all the time, then I can kind
Mhm.
of, I'll usually ask them, what colors do you like and what colors do you typically avoid? And
Mhm.
that's for new and returning clients. I would ask that. And then the same with patterns. Do you like florals? Do you like animal print? And that kind of gives me an idea of what they like and don't like. So then I will typically scroll through Pinterest or Instagram, mainly Instagram, to find some inspiration and some ideas. And then I'll usually ask them, do you want to be completely surprised, or do you want me to show you some pictures? So then I can pull up some things and we can say yes or no together, which is helpful.
Yeah, actually, sometimes choosing the surprised option can kind of be a good idea as a
Mhm.
client as well, because, you know, nails are definitely responsible for our mood as
Mhm.
well. So
Mhm.
having kind of surprise nails that could lift up your mood is kind of sounds like a therapy
Yeah,
almost.
absolutely. Yeah, they love it. It's fun for both ends for sure.
And talking about like clients and getting to know them before actually their appointment, already knowing what to offer. I was wondering over the years, of course, it's due to your hard work, but how did you kind of work on your brand, personal brand, and how did you build your clientele? What are some tips that you could share with beginner nail techs?
So social media actually has been a huge thing for me. Starting right from the beginning with social media, even if I didn't have any nail content to post, I would still try to post daily, whether that be sharing a product recommendation or a fun quote or some tips and tricks with nails.
Mhm.
Just posting every day to keep it consistent and keep my name out there. And then as time went on and I could continue to uh, grow in my work and be able to post more of that too, that helped.
Mhm.
Um, Also, just, making friends with the clients and being friendly, being professional, having a good reputation that made it so that they would recommend their friends to me. And it just grew that way as well. And I would do little things on social media like contests. There was one year that I did a 12 days of Christmas in the beginning. And so each day you had to like the post and
Mhm.
tag two or three friends, and you would win something. So then that got my name out to those other people as well.
Mhm.
And there was one time I did a nail feed contest. So everybody for the entire month, I think it was October, they had to post a picture on their Instagram story or feed and tag me. And so then that got my work out there to all of their followers. So
Right.
different things like that really are helpful for building your brand because it's very hard for the first few years.
Yeah, I agree. And thanks a lot for sharing these tips. They are really very good engagement boosters that
Mm-hmm.
you shared, and also kind of being open to sharing your page through others instead of just concentrating on ads, being creative with also how you kind of grow your community.
Yeah.
Um, it's a very smart idea.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll say I've never gotten a single client from paying for ads.
that's interesting.
Yeah. Everyone's different, but that has been my
Yeah.
experience, and which is kind of nice then because I didn't feel a huge need to constantly shell out money to
Mhm.
get people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely nice.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you're someone who opened their own business after working in a salon for a while. I wanted to talk a little bit more about that as well. Why did you decide to kind of open your own business, and what are some advice that you would share for nail techs that also want to do their own business?
Yeah. So I always had the idea in the back of my head of wanting to have my own room and decorate it the way I want and control everything the way that I like. So after working as an employee for a few years, there were a lot of other just workers around me that were going this route.
Right.
And the more I found out about what they were doing and the more I learned about the behind the scenes, it didn't seem as daunting to me. So, there's a lot of legalities that you have to go through. You have to get a separate license, the business
Right.
insurance, all the tax information settled.
Mhm.
Um, Having an accountant is super helpful too. Uh, but once that initial couple months of starting out, getting all my ducks in a row, it has been so exciting. I've been doing my own thing for about 2 years now, and I love it
Mhm.
so much. You get to create your own schedule, you get to be in control of your pricing, you get to be in control of your product. I had an issue before at
Mhm.
my previous salon where, everybody's using product, but sometimes it was hard to find a file. I'm running around. Anybody got a spare file? So knowing now I don't have to worry about that. I can make sure I'm in charge of my inventory and everything's on track has been really, really great. So I feel like once you have that steady clientele that
Mhm.
okay, even if I lose a third of my clientele, I can still pay for everything and make a profit, um,
Mhm.
then you would be great because there is a cost involved. There's a big upfront cost, especially if you're
Right.
using your own room and not just a station, because I had to then pay for everything for my
Mhm.
room. Um, but it's so nice because once you get that out of the way, you can just keep trucking forward and have your own kind of space and serenity within that space, which has been wonderful.
I am very happy and very excited for you. It's very great to hear. And also, kind of as a closing advice for our very useful and inspiring episode, for also kind of people who want to start their own business or in general are starting a blog as a nail tech or just starting out in any platform or way, there's this issue of comparing yourself to others. And as great as opportunities social media gives, it also kind of sometimes can be very toxic in terms of kind of sharing something that's not real, and it can be very discouraging for some people. I was wondering, some kind of from the mental health perspectives, what are some tips that you would give to nail techs in order to kind of believe in themselves more?
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to not compare yourself to other, right? I mean, it's right in your face on your phone all the time. I definitely struggle with that too. It is important though to be able to, I feel like I like to look back at my work from years past and see where I'm at now and just see
Mhm.
improvement, and just be encouraged by that. Because even if, I can spot a couple flaws in my latest set, I can just know, okay, this is where I can improve. And if I do that set a year from now, I know it's going to be even better. Or even if I do it next week again, it's going to be even better. And then just mental health wise, as a nail tech and even just in the beauty industry in general, you are essentially used as a therapist a lot of the times.
Agreed.
And I am very much an introvert at heart. So it's
Me too.
draining. Yeah, right. So it's draining at the end of the day, talking all day. So I
Mhm.
really encourage people to just set aside even 15, 30 minutes after work to decompress, whether that's journaling or reading a book, watching a comfort show, maybe taking a hot bath or shower. Um, for some people that might be working out, whatever that is to decompress, just try to do that. Find some silence or peace, wherever that comes from. It's so important. I also try to establish more boundaries with clients.
Mhm.
As you get close to your clients, sometimes they might be texting you at all hours of the night to schedule something or whatever it may be. So I try to keep it set where 8 p.m. I'm not texting back business related messages. Same with just Sundays, all day Sundays. That's our family time. So I don't want to be working on that day. And if you think about it, any other job, it's kind of the same way. You're not working past certain hours. And just because a lot of my business is from my phone doesn't mean I should be working at all hours of the night. And so it's sometimes hard to stick to that. So sometimes I'll make a post here and there, like trying to work on my work-life balance. So I won't be responding to messages these times and days. And that's helpful too.
Great. Thanks a lot for sharing all of that and actually sharing the advice of comparing yourself to your own self in the past instead of comparing yourself to others is definitely very motivating, and it will help you grow and kind of encourage yourself instead of seeking validation somewhere else. So that's really great advice, and thanks a lot for your time again and for this very beautiful episode. I'm sure it was helpful to everyone who listened to it. And make sure to follow Savannah in order not to miss her incredible nail art and all of the news that she shares on her page. And we will see you during our next episode.